All right, so the FinOps Foundation just dropped its 2025 State of FinOps report. And wow, it paints a picture of a discipline that is absolutely at a turning point. We're going to break down all the key findings that show how FinOps is evolving, the totally new challenges it's facing, and honestly, why it's become more critical to the modern enterprise than ever before. So, here's the game plan. First, we'll get a real high-level view of where FinOps stands today, in 2025. Then we're going to explore this massive shift to what's being called Cloud Plus, and how that's really shaking up priorities. After that, we'll dive straight into the impact of the AI boom, the squeeze that's putting on practitioners, and what this all means for the future of accountability in tech spending. Okay, so to kick things off, let's just talk about the sheer scale we're dealing with here. The data we're looking at isn't from a handful of small startups, it's coming from the absolute giants of the enterprise cloud space.
$69 billion. Yep, you heard that right. That is the combined annual cloud spend of the companies that took part in this report. So keep that number in your head. The trends we're about to discuss aren't just theories. They are being driven by organizations with massive, massive cloud budgets, the ones shaping the entire industry.
And that scale brings us right to our first major trend. For the longest time, FinOps was pretty much all about public cloud costs, but that is changing, and it's changing fast. We have officially entered the era of Cloud Plus.
So what in the world is Cloud Plus? Well, it means that the core skills of FinOps, allocation, forecasting, optimization, they're breaking out of their traditional public cloud box and being applied everywhere. We're talking SaaS spend, software licenses, and even old-school on-premise infrastructure like private clouds and data centers.
And the data shows us exactly where this expansion is happening the fastest. A huge 65% of people surveyed are already managing or at least planning to manage their SaaS spend. I mean, it's the clear leader here, which totally makes sense as SaaS usage just skyrockets and companies desperately need FinOps to get a handle on those spiraling costs.
So, with this massively expanding scope, it's probably no surprise that the core priorities of the job are also evolving. What mattered most just yesterday is definitely not what's going to matter most tomorrow.
And this right here is a fundamental shift. Right now, today, the top priority is reactive. It's about finding and stomping out waste. But in the next 12 months, the focus is pivoting to proactive governance and policy at scale. This is a huge signal that the discipline is really maturing. It's moving from being the cleanup crew to being the architects building the financial guardrails to prevent problems in the first place.
Okay, now for the topic that is completely reshaping the entire landscape, artificial intelligence. The explosion in AI investment is creating a massive new challenge and, really, a whole new mandate for FinOps teams.
Just look at this growth. It's staggering. Last year, less than a third of practitioners were managing AI spend. This year, that number has more than doubled to 63%. In just 12 months, AI went from being this niche concern to a core responsibility for the majority of FinOps teams. That is just an incredible acceleration. So what does managing AI spend actually mean today? Well, it's really about getting the fundamentals right. The focus is on basic visibility. Things like cost allocation, data ingestion, and just plain reporting. We're still in that initial phase of just trying to figure out where all the money is going, long before any complex optimization really begins. And all of this leads us to the people at the very heart of this transformation, the FinOps practitioners themselves. With a much broader scope and this sudden explosion of AI, the pressure on them is just immense. The report found that practitioners are trying to ramp up their efforts in an average of 12 different areas. 12. That is a staggering amount of new work being piled onto their already full plates. And here's the other side of that coin, the real kicker. While they're ramping up on 12 different fronts, they're only decreasing their effort in about one. This is the very definition of being stretched thin. New responsibilities are constantly being added, but almost nothing is ever being taken away. This quote from one of the survey respondents just says it all. When they were asked what they need most, the answer wasn't some magical new technology. It was way more fundamental. They just need more time and more resources. It's a direct plea for more investment in the people and the tools needed to do this increasingly complex job. So, where does all of this leave us? As we look to the future, it's crystal clear that FinOps is evolving from a pretty niche practice into a central pillar of enterprise technology management. So, to sum it all up, FinOps is no longer just about the cloud. It's about Cloud Plus.
Its focus is shifting from putting out fires to proactively building the fire station. AI cost management has become a central, non-negotiable responsibility. And maybe most importantly, the people driving all this are being stretched to their limits and they need more support.
And that leaves us with this final, critical question. The responsibility of FinOps is clearly growing at an exponential rate. But will the investment in its people, its tools, and its training grow along with it? The answer to that question will likely define the success of the entire practice for years to come.